Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to show you how to build forms, quizzes, or funnels right on your Onepage website. We'll show you about conditional logic, how to integrate with your CRM, how to add multiple steps with different views, and so much more. By the end of this video, you'll be able to build beautiful forms, funnels, or quizzes that lead your customers right into Onepage's integrated CRM. We'll also show you how to integrate some other tools if you want to move your data elsewhere. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any other videos like this one, and drop your comments below and we'll be sure to get them answered. Okay, let's jump in and show you how this all works. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. And by the end of this video, just to recap, you're going to be able to create a form, a flow, a quiz, a funnel in your Onepage account. You're going to be familiar with conditional logic, how to do multi-step forms, how to view the leads in the CRM, how you can add integrations, and so much more. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do this all from scratch so that you can follow along on each step. I'm signed into the Onepage account. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new project. And then I'm going to start from scratch so you can see this from beginning to end. We're not going to use a template here, but you could essentially eject this into any template as well. So we'll do form demo here. We'll say 2. I'm going to create a project. And as we expect here, we have a blank page. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit add section. I'm going to add a header just so this page has some structure and it's not completely blank. We're not going to do anything with the header, but it looks nice there. And I'm going to show you how the form interacts with the header. So that's why I want to have that here as well. Okay, so next up, we need to build the sections for our form. Again, this is going to be a multi-step form, and we're going to have different sections for different steps of the form, and I'll show you what that looks like. So what we're going to do is we're going to use blueprints here. And blueprints are just different sectionalized elements of a page. So right here, we have one big section. Here we have one little section with a bigger section underneath. There's all these different blueprints, so you can be really creative with your forms, and I'll show you how this looks. So let's go ahead and start with one section here in this blueprint. Once we have this in the page, I'm going to exit out of this. We can hit this plus button, and we can add any sort of elements into this. This could be a static element like an image, but there's also all these form elements here. And we're going to start with this here. So we're going to start with name. So our form here has a first name, last name, and a submit button because there's only one step. We go ahead and hit the edit form button. I'm going to rename this and I'm going to call this name just so we can easily identify each step in the process. Just to point out, there's a lot of different customizations that you can do within each one of these form elements. I'm not going to change anything here, but you can change the styles, the colors, the progress bar, whether you want to hide it, the navigation, you can track events, and so much more. I'm going to keep this pretty simple because I'm just going to show you how to build the form and add logic, but just know you can customize all the styles with the form as well. Okay, so next up, what we're going to do is we're going to have a second step to our form where there's going to be several different choices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit add step. I'm going to choose blueprint, and then I'm going to choose this section, which is 1 row, 3 columns. Now, as you can see here, if I click out of this and into this page, I have my 3 columns. So what I want to do is I want to add questions that are different styles in each one of these columns. So let's go ahead and do that here. I'm going to go ahead and rename this first, and I'm going to call this choices. Okay, so now it's called choices. Again, I'm just naming these so I can find them easily when we add the logic. Right here, we can hit plus. Again, we want to choose form elements. And for this one, let's go ahead and do a select. And we have 3 options, right? So we can click into this and we can actually change our options. Again, we're pretending like we are an agency. So we have marketing, services, design services, and let's say development services. What we're trying to do is we're trying to create a flow so that potential customers can go through our form and choose different services and book a call with one of our agents depending on what services they're interested in. The last thing we can do is put a label here. We can say, what are you interested in? Okay, so we have marketing, design, and development. Okay, great. Next up, we want to actually collect some more information from our customer. So this section, we can say another select. We could say, what is your budget? So first option, let's just say $0 to $2,500. Second option here, you can do $2,500 to, let's say, $5,000. And then the third option, we'll just do 5,000 plus. Okay, and we want to put a label for this. We can say, what is your budget? Question mark. Okay. We can make this required. We should probably do that for this one as well. So we can click into this. We can hit edit and make this required. Okay. we have our third section here. Maybe we want to know where in the world our customers are located. So let's go ahead and add a choice for that. So we can hit plus. Again, we're in our form elements. We can just do short text and we can change this input to say, where are you located? All right, awesome. So now we have the second step of our form, which are these three choices. And it's a 3-column layout. Our first step is just this 1-column layout for the first and last name. Okay, so next up, depending on what they choose, whether marketing, design, or development, we want them to be able to book a call depending on their choice. So let's go ahead and add another step. We're going to make this a 2-column layout. In this column here, we're going to do a date picker. They have a ton of different options. So everything from short text to long text to number to name to drop downs to range sliders, recaptchas, and so much more. We're just going to go ahead and choose date picker here. Okay. And we're going to put a label on this. Here we go. Label. And we're going to say schedule a call with design. Pick a suitable date. Required. Okay. And maybe here, what we want to do is we want to show you that you can also put a static element in here instead of a form element. So maybe we just want to do an image. We can click into this. We can choose library. We can choose marketing. Okay. Let's just choose that one. That looks good. Okay, so this one is design. We're going to rename this, or we're going to call this design. Okay. And now what we can actually do to speed this up is we can duplicate this. So we're going to duplicate it again. The first one, we're going to rename this marketing. Okay, schedule this call with marketing. And then we can actually change this image if we wanted. Maybe something different. There we go. Let's rename this to marketing. This is internal for us, but it'll help us whenever we do the logic. And then this third one can be development. So schedule this call with devs. Okay. And we can come over here, change this image again. We can choose development, maybe this image of a computer with some code. Perfect. Okay. We can come in here, make it required. Okay. It is required because it inherited it when we copied this. The last thing we want to do is edit this step and call this dev. Okay, so now we have our name, we have our choices. So we have where we collect the first and last name. We have our choices, what they're interested in, their budget, and they're located. And depending on what they choose, we're going to want to route them to design, marketing, or development schedule picker. And then let's add a couple other steps here. We want to allow our users to upload a file. So let's go ahead and add a step. We'll make this 1 row, 1 column again. Hit this plus button. We can come down here to form elements and choose file picker or uploader. Okay. And we can say upload any necessary files. Okay. Upload any necessary files. So we can allow our, potential customers to upload anything that might be relevant. And then the last step is just a finish step. Thank you for contacting us. You can customize this. You can add Lottie files, which is really nice. We'll just say thank you for contacting us, and that'll be that. I want to show you a couple other things. You can also choose what happens after they submit. Right now, we're just sending them to this end step, and we're sending our leads to their CRM. But we can add other actions as well, like double opt-in, autoresponder, that sort of thing. Again, we can customize every part of this. Right now, the styles are inherited, but you can change all the colors, all the design, everything like that. Now, we're all done. So what I want to do before we go any further is just publish this and give it a quick test just to make sure it works how we expect. Okay, so right now we're going to fill this out. We'll say John Doe. We can hit next and check this out. Even though that this element on the page is changing, our nav bar is not. It's not refreshing the page. It's all happening dynamically within this section. If we had other content down here, that would not change either. Only the form is changing, and we have this nice progress bar on top. So it's a really nice unified experience for our customer in this case. So we can choose marketing or budget. We'll just say USA. We'll hit next. And right now what's happening is it's going to bring us to all 3 of these scheduling boxes. So schedule with design, schedule with marketing, schedule with devs, but this doesn't really make sense. We don't want someone to schedule all 3. We just want them to pick one depending on their initial choice. So let's show how we can actually build that. Let's come back here. And our app was deployed. Okay, great. If we come down into the form settings, there's this button here called Logic. And as you can see, everything here is super sequential. So you fill out your name, then you go to the choices, then design, then marketing, then dev, and then you do the file upload, and then you're finished. But what we want to have happen here is depending on the customer's choice, whether they choose design, development, or marketing, they'll be routed to the appropriate schedule picking form. Now, this is just an example, but I want to show you this type of complex logic that you can build within your forms and how easy it is to do with the one-page builder. So let's go ahead into choices here. And what we can do is we can hit add a rule. And since we're on this step, it populates the fields in this step. So we do have these 3 fields. What are you interested in? What is your budget? And where are you located? We want to start with what are you interested in? And let's just say they select marketing. Where do we want to send them? We want to send them to the marketing scheduling picker. But what we can do is we can add another rule. So what are you interested in? If they select design, then we're going to send them to the design tab. And then we can add a third rule. What are you interested in? Development. Then we can send them to the development step. So just to recap, what are you interested in? Marketing, send them to marketing. What are you interested in? Design, send them to design. And if you're interested in development, send it to development. Otherwise, we just send them right to design. But they're going to be choosing something. So basically, no matter what, they're going to go to the appropriate part of the form depending on their choice. Okay, so next up here, we want to add a couple other things on each one of these steps. So what we want to do is we want to go to the design step. And if we remember, they're going to be scheduling a date with us. So what we want to have happen is if they scheduled a date anytime in the future, which is basically going to be always, then we're actually going to take them to the last step. Otherwise, they would just move through the other steps that are remaining in the form. So let's just show you how this works. If the schedule date is let's actually just use a date in the past. So if the date is after 2/23/25, then we're actually going to have them go to this final step. Okay. Otherwise, we will actually send them to the final step as well. So no matter what, they're going to this final step. So let's just go ahead and repeat this for these two. So if the date is after 2/23, then go to the final step. Otherwise, go to the final step. And we could do that one last time here. We can add a rule. I'm going fast here because we're just repeating what we've done, but we can do date is after 2/23, then go to the final step. Otherwise, go to the final step. Okay. So the reason that we did that is because if they were to make their choice and they were to land on design, which happens to be ahead of the marketing and the dev, even though the logic worked to send them to design, they still would sequentially go through these other steps. But since we added this other logic for the date, it's going to actually skip those steps. Now we can go ahead and test this to make sure this all works. So let's go ahead and exit out of this. And what we can do is we can update our app and republish it. And then we can go out to the web and test this in real time. So let's go ahead and test it. John Doe, hit next. Okay, so there's we're going to make our choice this time. We're going to say, I'm interested in design. My budget is this. And where am I located? USA. Now what should happen is it's going to take us to the design form here. Yes, schedule a call with design. Here's our nice image. We could choose our date. Let's go ahead and choose the 28th. Of course, the customer is always going to choose a date after the current date. We could choose the 28th, hit next, and look at that. It skips the other steps now and goes right to the upload any necessary files. I'll just go ahead and upload a file here of this screenshot and hit submit, and I get the thank you for contacting us. Now, remember, while we were filling out this form, nothing with our header changed, and any elements down here wouldn't change either. It's this dynamic changing form with different sections all within this single section right here, which is super, super cool. Okay, so our form worked with complex logic. We went through a lot there, but hopefully you're able to follow along. If we come back to our one-page account, I want to show you a couple other things here with what happens when somebody fills out the form. I want to show you how to look at some of the results and what you can do with the CRM. So let's dive into that right. Okay, so we're back here to our form steps. And down here at the bottom, we have this tab called results. This is really neat. So we can actually see all kinds of different results related to our form, our funnel, or our quiz. We can see the number of sessions, the number of leads, the conversion rate for the form, the average time to complete. You can look at it in different views, like a bar, a line, or a table. We could see the different sources and where these came from. Our data is not that interesting because we're just testing here, but imagine you had customers from all around the world. This would be really helpful to see all this information. We can also see the funnel view here, which gives us some different data on conversion and drop off. We have other insights like what people are choosing. This really helps us get a bird's eye view of our customer and our leads in this case. And we have this tab called leads. Now, this is our CRM that's built right into OnePage. We can actually see all these different leads. We can see the date they were submitted, the name of the form, their first name, their last name, what they're interested in, where they're located, and basically all of the data that we collected. I want to show you one other thing here because you can actually integrate your CRM with other tools as well. If I come back here, I can go to my CRM, and this is basically the same view, but we're outside of the form view now. We're more in just the CRM itself. We can actually add an integration, and just to show you, they integrate with all kinds of other apps. You can use Zapier, you can use Make, so it's very no-code friendly. You could send them to HubSpot, you could use a web clip, you could use email, and so much more. So in just a matter of minutes, we built this powerful multi-step form with conditional logic. We looked at some of the different analytics and the CRM that's attached to the forms. This is super powerful, and it's all able to be done right within your page builder without using any third-party tools. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any other videos like this one. Thank you so much.